Hey y'all, and welcome back to Simply Carolyn. Tonight I am making some spaghetti for dinner. I'm using the Barilla thin spaghetti noodles. And y'all, I'm not showing myself on camera because I have just gotten off of work and I wanted to make something quick and good for the family. So I decided to make some spaghetti. That is a 1 pound box, and I will be using the whole box. So now what I'm going to do is just break them in half. I'm just showing you that this is the 1 pound box. This is the best type of spaghetti noodles to actually use. I always split mine in half because they don't always fit in the pot the long way. And I want them to cook together. Just taking my time and breaking them apart. I have arthritis in my hands, so sometimes it's hard for me to do normal things that that I could normally do with my hands because of the arthritis. But I do my best. So y'all, I'm trying to go ahead and get my noodles in here. I had to stop and go get some oil to put in my noodles because I don't want them to stick together. So here I'm just pouring some water in my pot. And I'm just putting enough to cover the noodles. Just enough so they won't stick. And I'm getting some salt. I forgot to get salt. Get my salt down. Sprinkle a little bit of salt in here to the noodles. I don't use a whole lot of salt, y'all, because it makes me swell. But this one is the plain, not the iodized one, and that one won't make you swell. But still, I limit myself to how much that I use. And that's my oil there. So I'm just going to put some in here. Keep my noodles from sticking. I'm going to go ahead and get them on and let them do their thing. Turning my stove on now. Putting it back there so it can go ahead and boil until they are al dente. And I always pride myself in wiping down my stove when I cook. I don't like no nasty stove, y'all. And I'm sure you guys don't either. So here you can see my noodles are done. So I'm going to go ahead and pour them in the sink in my colander so they can drain the water off of them. And then I will be back to go ahead and put them back in my pot and add my spaghetti sauce to them. I left my stove on because I am going to, in the pot that I have there on the stove, I have my hamburger meat. It was partially frozen. So what I did was just go ahead and take my hamburger meat out and put it in my pot. And I don't brown my ground beef. I steam mine. I don't have a gallbladder, so I can't tolerate a whole lot of grease. So I normally just pour some water in my pot or pan, whatever I'm using. Just enough, to keep it from sticking, and I let mine steam. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my seasoning to my ground beef. And you can use ground turkey, but y'all, I cannot tolerate ground turkey. So this is my Lori seasoning salt. And I don't measure, y'all. I sprinkle. I'm sorry. It's just the way I was taught. And here I'm adding some lemon pepper. I use the same seasonings most of the time on everything. And lemon pepper is one of my staples. And here, this is a new one I've started using. It's the Badia cilantro. And you can use this on meat and veggies. Has a really, really good flavor. So I'm going to sprinkle in some of that. And the key to cooking any meal is seasoning your dish. Here I'm going to add some garlic powder. I don't use the salt because of the salt intake. And that's another one that's by Badia, or Badia, however you pronounce it. They have good seasonings. I like their brand. And that's the garlic powder. I'm just sprinkling out. You can put as much as the garlic powder as you want because it's not salty. I love that. And it beats chopping fresh garlic. And here is another staple that I always use is accent. Got this container from Sam's. You can find them in Walmart too. But I got this one from Sam's. And I love that. That's not salty, so I always use a good little bit of that. Now I have chopped a whole onion and a green bell pepper. And I'm going to just add that in right on top of my meat. And let it go ahead and cook along with the ground beef. And like I said, that is one whole sweet onion and one green bell pepper chopped. So I'm going to put that on back there, put my top on it, kind of tilt my lid, and let that go ahead and cook until it's done. So now I'm back here and my spaghetti, I've drained it. That's what it's looking like. So now I'm getting ready to add my sauce. I'm using 1 can of tomato sauce. It's just plain tomato sauce. 1 can of that. Y'all, I try to get every drop out of my cans because I ain't trying to waste nothing. I want every little drop out there. Y'all don't laugh. Some of y'all probably do the same thing. And then to that 1 can of tomato sauce, I'm going to add some more garlic. I wanted my meal to have a real good taste of garlic. So I added some more. It's the garlic powder. Added some more of that. Like I said before, the key to seasoning your food, the key to your food being good is seasoning. This is some oregano, dried oregano leaves. I'm going to definitely put some of that in there. Everybody don't like oregano, but I like it. Most Italian food, people put oregano in, like spaghetti, lasagna. And like I said, you don't have to, but I like it. And I'm also going to add some dill weed. That's actually good as well. Y'all, I'm not camera ready, but I just have on a little lounge around dress. That's my dill weed. I'm going to add some of that. Just a little. Give it a good flavor as well. And I'm going to go ahead and add my other can of spaghetti sauce. And I like adding it to my noodles and then putting you can do it anyway. I've done it several ways, but this way I like to make sure my noodles are good and saucy. So I went ahead, and put the sauce in with the noodles to make sure I had enough. And then what I'll do when my meat is done is just spoon it in. And the reason I'm spooning it in and not putting it all in is because if it's too much, I can always use the little bit that's left over. It's my other can of spaghetti sauce. I can use a little bit of meat that's left over if it's too much for the size of my pot to make a couple of tacos for myself. And like I said, I'm getting all of the goodness out this can. Give it a good mix, a good stir. Make sure that all of my noodles are good and coated. You don't want it too soupy, but then again, you don't want a dry pot of spaghetti either. I'm just continuing to give it a good stir, a good mix. Added just a teeny bit, just a little bit of water to my can, mainly to get the rest of the sauce out, but to also that the sauce was really, really thick. So I wanted to thin it out just a little. So I did add a little water, not much. And I'm just stirring, making sure Like I said, everything is coated. And now I'm getting ready to check my ground beef and see if it's ready. And I didn't break it down when I first put it in my pot. I just put it all in there and let it go ahead and start steaming. But right here, I'm going to take my spoon and go ahead and start loosening it up some, because I don't want hunks of meat. I mean, I do like to have, you know, some bigger chunks of meat in my spaghetti. But for the most part, I want to just break it down really, really good. Mainly because, like I said, this pack of ground beef was frozen. And as it started to loosen up, I wanted to just go ahead and break it down so all of it would get cooked. I don't want part of it raw and part of it done. So to make sure that it was all getting cooked really, really good, I just went ahead and took my spoon and just started breaking it down. And that's what you'll see me doing here. Now I did put those bell peppers and onions in there because that will give the meat itself such a good flavor. Cook right on into it. And that's why I take that slotted spoon when it's done and scoop it out and put it in my pot, because I don't want to pour out all my good bell peppers and onions. I want all that goodness in my pot. So as you can see, I'm just continuing to break it down really, really good. Y'all, I wish y'all could smell my kitchen right about now. It smells so, so good. It smells like an Italian restaurant. I kid you not. That didn't look like a big pack of meat, but I'm telling you, it was a lot more than I thought it was. And some people add sausage to theirs. I've done that. There's so many different ways that you can make spaghetti, and there's no wrong way. It's just according to your taste, what you and your family like. So when I cook something, I always say season to your own liking, add what you like. If I make something and you don't like an ingredient, you can leave it out. You don't have to follow it to the T. But I just like to demonstrate how I do things. Everybody cooks different. There's no right or wrong way. So now I'm just putting it back on and letting it go ahead and continue to simmer a little bit to make sure all of it is done. And here I've taken it off and I'm getting ready to scoop it in my actual sauce. But I went to my mailbox while everything was cooking and I had ordered some white pepper. Y'all, I've never used white pepper before, and this is by Badia. I got it from Amazon and it came today. So I will be actually trying that on some of my dishes. Checking out how it works or how it tastes. And I also found some other seasoning today in the Dollar Tree when I was out getting my spaghetti sauce. I found some mesquite barbecue seasoning, Memphis style barbecue seasoning, and I will be trying that. I have some ribs, and this is some garlic pepper. And I was just noticing on both of these that they have salt in them. So anytime you buy some type of seasoning, check your ingredients, because you may think something does not have salt and it probably do. So just be careful with that if you're a person that can't do a lot of salt. So now here I'm draining this ground beef and my veggies out, and I'm just going to lay it right on top of this spaghetti. It's a little bit more time consuming, but like I said, I want my veggies. I don't want to drain it and then pour out all of my veggies. So I'm just going to take my time and go ahead and get this in here. Y'all, I can't wait to taste it. I know it's going to be good. And I also bought myself a fresh container of Parmesan cheese. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I know this is going to be good. And I like spaghetti, but I have to eat it when I have a taste for it. Today I pretty much made it. My husband and my son does landscaping, so I want to make sure they have a good meal when they come home. I don't always get a chance to do that, but tonight I got off a little bit earlier, like an hour earlier. So I decided to make a pot of spaghetti, and now they will eat off of this tonight, which is Friday, and tomorrow, which is Saturday. They love it, but they will demolish that pot, I'm telling you. This is something that they both really love. So, yep, I'm taking my time and dipping this out. Making sure that I don't leave my veggies or any of my meat in here. And like I said, if for some reason it's too much for my pot, here you see me sliding it because it's getting pretty full. But I can always use that meat for some tacos or to make a taco salad, you know. It will not go to waste. There's so many things you can do with ground beef. Just wiping down my stove. Get this pot a little bit closer to me so I can give it a good mix and mix it up really, really good. And I'm just incorporating the meat with the noodles now. I'm going to taste this ground beef and make sure that it's seasoned to taste. You always want to taste your dish to make sure the seasoning is on point. You can always start out light with your seasonings because you can always add to, but you can't take away from. So you just continue to just, you know, taste it as you go. Add what you feel like you need. Sometimes I even have my mom or my husband to taste it and see if I'm missing something. But tonight I'm solo. My mom is in the bed. My husband's gone to run an errand, and my son went to his girlfriend's house. So it's just me here in this kitchen tonight. So I'll have to taste it and just adjust it to my liking. And there you see, I'm just continuing to incorporate all of it. You see that big hunk of meat there, y'all? I left some hunks in there because I'm telling you, it is good. Very, very good. I really should have used, I have a bigger pot that I use to make my spaghetti, but it's really, really tall. And when I'm videoing, you can't see down in it, so I decided to use this one. And it's working out. No complaints. So now I'm just tasting my sauce on my hand to see if I need anything. And I'm sure I'm going to have to add a little, you know, some stuff, tweak it a little bit to get it to where I like it. So now I decided, since I got it all mixed up real good, and what I did was, you know, just stir it real good from the bottom. And so I'm go ahead and put the rest of this ground beef and bell pepper and onion in there. I feel like I can get it all in there now, so that's what I'm doing, just adding the rest. I have nothing to waste. We are so blessed. There's so many people that don't have, you know, half the stuff that we have. I'm not bragging either. Well, let me put it like this. I'm not bragging on me. I'm bragging on God because He's the one that's making the way. I have a refrigerator freezer full. I have a deep freezer full. I can't get anything in my deep freezer. So I bless God. I thank Him because He's good. He don't have to do it. He don't have to supply, but He did. He always said He will supply your needs, and you just have to trust Him. And so I do trust Him, and thank God we've never been hungry. I know some people complain about this and complain about that. Y'all, I have nothing to complain about. I'm just grateful. Grateful, grateful. All right, so there, I've got the rest of my meat out of there. Just wiping down my stove. Cleanliness is next to godliness. And I'm adding some more accent because when I taste it, it's like it's missing something. So, trying to get this bigger side open. Can't get it open, y'all. My little hands are weak from arthritis. So I had to reach over and get something to help me open it. And now I'm just sprinkling some more accent. Looks like a lot, but it's not. I'm not using all of my seasons, just a few of them that I think I need. A little more Lawry's. Lawry's is a good seasoning. I got so many seasonings, y'all, I don't need to buy no more. My cabinet is about to run over. And this is my garlic powder. Love my garlic, y'all. And I have just a little bit of this lemon pepper left. So I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead and throw that out. I got another whole bottle in the cabinet. And I'm even holding on to that little bit. So I went ahead and added that. And then last but not least, I'm adding some more of my cilantro from the Badia. Adding a little more of that. Just putting up my seasonings. I don't like having things just all over the place. Gotta get that salt back in the cabinet. Alright, wiping the stove down because you know when you cook things splash. So now I'm mixing. Go ahead and continue to mix and incorporate the rest of the meat into this. And I'm telling you, y'all, this pot is heaping. It is heaping. But I can guarantee you, probably by tomorrow evening or Sunday morning, it won't even be a trace of this left, because my husband and my son, they love pasta. I like it, but like I said, I have to have a taste for it. I just can't, eat it like that. But this right here, I know it's going to be good. So it does me good to see them enjoy it and eat. I don't do pasta too much because I am diabetic, and pasta is against a diabetic because it's a carbohydrate. But you can have you can enjoy some of the things that other people have. You just have to do it in moderation. And that's with anything. Don't overdo it. And I think here I'm looking, what am I looking for here? Oh, trying to get a little bit of sugar to take that acid taste from the tomatoes, that can of tomatoes tomato sauce that I use, as well as the spaghetti sauce. I'm adding just a little, just to kind of even out the acidity from the tomatoes. Stir that up a little bit. And see, I'm stirring, pushing from the bottom, but trying not to waste it all over the place. Like I said, I really should have used my bigger pot, but oh well. So that's tasting good. What I'm going to do next is put my oregano, sprinkle some more of that in there. I love oregano, y'all. It's the dried one, but it's good. Like I said, my kitchen right now smells like an Italian restaurant. So I'm going to slide that back and put my lid on there and turn it down a little bit low and let it simmer and heat. Like when I make my spaghetti and get it all combined, I like to turn it down low with the lid on it and let it go ahead and just warm up all the way through from the bottom. Then I'll give it another stir. So here I just turned my oven on, and I have some garlic bread I'm getting ready to pop in the oven. So by the time my spaghetti is fully heated through and through, then my garlic bread will be ready. I try to cook when I'm cooking. I try to make sure that all of my food get done just about around the same time. So that's what I'm doing. So now I'm getting ready to check my garlic bread. I smelled it, so I said, you know what? I better go check it. And there it is. It is ready. Nice and crispy. Very, very good. Turning that oven off because that will make the kitchen hot. And here it is heated all the way through. And now I'm showing you what my finished product looks like. Y'all, that's a heaping pot of spaghetti. And it looks and smells so good. I hope it's as good as it smells and looks. So I'm using a little salsa tonight, y'all, because I had a late lunch. So I don't want to overdo it. And pasta is a carb, like I said, so I'm just going to get a little bit just to try. I don't have anybody else here to try it for me, so I will have to try it myself tonight. And like I said, I got just a little saucer. And I'm going to get myself a piece of this garlic bread and see how it came out. So there we have it. And that's my Parmesan, my grated Parmesan. I'm going to actually make sure I add some of that to the top, make it a little bit more yummy. Yummy. I wish you guys were here to help me enjoy it. I'm going to add myself a little bit of parsley. Even though parsley don't have any flavor, y'all, it makes your dish look good. It looks pretty. So there we go. I'm just going to garnish it a little bit with the parsley. And there you have it. Ta-da! Here's my finished product. Y'all, don't that look yummy? I do thank you guys for stopping in, watching me prepare my little meal for my family tonight on this Good Friday night. So let me get myself a fork, take myself a bite. Y'all, I'm not, like I said, I'm not camera ready, so I'm not showing myself. I'm just going to taste it. If you could just smell it. There you go, get you a bite. Yes. Turned out perfect. So I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by, checking me out, getting me a bite of this garlic bread, and it's so crispy and crunchy, y'all. Oh my goodness, I wish you guys were here. But I thank you for stopping by, and I will see you on my next video. Good night.